All right, now to try something a little more fun here at Ajax Annual Canadian Car of the Year Awards. We want to take something out on the track, so what better than the new Cayman GT4? We are talking track day special. It's got all the fixins, including spherical bearings instead of rubber bushings, gigantic brakes. Look at those things. My God. And of course we picked it in the most obnoxious color of yellow we could. It's got a functional wing on it, all kinds of other aerodynamics, I'm sure. The old double center exhaust, rather sexy. It's on Dunlop Sport Max race tires, which are very sticky but not good in the cold, and it is freezing cold today, so we'll probably just put it in Sport Plus mode rather than turning everything off, because the last thing we want to do is crash this car at a journalist event like this. So I'll just give you a quick peek inside. It has fixed back carbon fiber racing buckets that are very, very sexy, covered in suede and leather. It has a proper manual gearbox. I believe you can only get it with a manual. And it has the Porsche 911 engine in the middle, which should deliver plenty of performance in a car that's this stripped down. In fact, you can see they've gone to such lengths to save weight that they put just a cloth strap in here as the door release mechanism. But it's still got a lot of nice soft touch materials. It's got suede on the doors, suede wrapped steering wheel. So, what do you say we hop in it and go for a rip? All right, as if by magic, our Cayman GT4 has turned blue over lunch. Obviously, we're in a different car, but they're all identical here at the Ajax event. For scientific testing purposes, they all must be the same spec. So let's go do our own scientific testing out here on the driver development track at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. I'm going to put this into Sport Plus mode. I'll put the exhaust to loud. AC is off. Okay, I think that's it for all the buttons that I need to push. As I explained earlier, it's a one lap only. They've got a lot of journalists here testing, so they only want the cars to be exposed to so many abusive laps around here. Off we go. Oh yeah, it sounds good. It sounds very nice. The brake pedal is really high and firm in this car. I actually found it a little bit tricky to heel and toe in it yesterday. And then I realized it actually will blip shift on the downshifts for you, like that. I didn't do that, but it sounds so good, I don't mind when the computers do it for me. So this guy revs to 8,000 RPM. Beautiful brakes. Man, Porsche always gets their brakes right. And even though it's a very cold day, the car has good grip on these Dunlop Sport Max race. Little slide there. And I'll get her into third gear here. Dab and turn. Man, the front end on this thing is so reactive. It's got those spherical bearings all out through the suspension that I mentioned before, and it just makes the car so pointy. Front end just immediately does what you ask it to do. But it doesn't quite put the power down coming out of the corners the way a 911 does. Man, the engine sounds so good. It is well balanced though, man. Man, this thing is fun. It's so nice to drive a new car that isn't big and heavy. Doesn't have you're not just saddled with a ton of technology, it's actually letting you drive the car. It is definitely a pure driving machine, boys and girls. This thing is dialed in. Whew. I love it. A true driver's car right here. Just everything about it is spot on in terms of driving position. You're very upright in these bucket seats, I will say that. So I don't know how comfortable it would be on a long road trip, but on the racetrack it puts you in a perfect driving position. Steering wheel is the right size. with a set of racing gloves on with the suede wrap, your hands would really be glued on there nicely. The fact that it does the blip shifts for you is nice if you don't know how to heel and toe. I would probably turn that off myself just because I enjoy the act of doing it myself. Just gives you that extra sense of connection to the car. And what else can I tell you? Such a short lap. I wish I could just go and do, you know, 3 or 4 laps in a row and get in a rhythm and really feel how the car is behaving at the limit. I have tried the Cayman S version of this car at our home track, and man, it's spectacular. So well balanced at the limit. Very playful mid-corner, you know, it feels like it's on a pivot, and I'm sure this car is just as good, if not better. I'm sure it's just like the S with the grip level increased, the power is increased, and being that it's got, you know, revised suspension, revised bushings throughout, I'm sure it feels a lot crisper. In that little sampling, it definitely felt extremely responsive on turn-in. Just the feeling of experiencing what's happening across the front axle through the steering wheel is just immediate. The second you do anything with the steering wheel, it's just reacting instantly. So love that about it. In the cold, it's really hard to tell how well it's able to put the power down. I'm sure it puts the power down well, but probably not as well as the 911 because it doesn't have the engine over the rear tires the way the 911 does. And that's really what I like about the 911s most, is how they put the power down coming out of corners. They just squat and go. And this is more traditional sports car fun in that you have to feed the gas in a little bit more gradually. You know, it takes a little bit more of a fine touch to get the car to really jump out of the corners. But that's why it's a true driver's car. It's a car you have to tell what to do. It's not going to do it for you. It is very technologically advanced though. It's got all of Porsche's traction control and stability control systems. So any novice could get in this car and drive it very quickly. But to turn all that off and really get the most out of it would take a skilled hand, and that's something I'd love to try to experience maybe next year if we can get our hands on one of these for a private test session. But in the meantime, wow, amazing car. Very stoked to check it off my list of new sports cars to have tried. And yeah, if I had 105 grand burning a hole in my pocket, this might be at the very top of my list because it's just such a pure driver's car. Beautiful. Just listen to those downshifts. Oh yeah. Daddy legs.